Hello, English learners. Welcome back to LifeTalk English. I'm Nico.
And I'm Elisa.
Today, we're diving into something you might think is simple, small talk. But trust me, this might be harder than it sounds. Imagine walking into a room full of people and nothing. Total silence. You freeze, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not because you don't have anything to say, it's just that starting is tricky. But today, we'll guide you through breaking the ice smoothly so that first sentence just flows.
Picture this. You're at a cafe, waiting for your latte. You notice the person next to you is reading a book you love. You could just nod awkwardly, or you could try something simple and natural.
Right. You could start with a comment about the book, like, "Hey, I love that author. Have you read their latest one?" You're showing interest, keeping it friendly, and bonus, opening the door for a longer chat.
Exactly. And notice the structure. Short, positive, and inviting. You don't need to dive into a full discussion of the author's biography. Just a light opener.
Another classic is the environment itself. You're at a networking event. You could say, "Wow, this place is busy today, isn't it?" It's safe, it's easy, and most people will respond because they feel the same thing.
And you see, these are not just phrases. They're little invitations. They say, I'm friendly, I noticed you, let's chat. And the key is to keep it simple. No overthinking, no rehearsed lines.
I like to think of it like a warm handshake with words. You're giving just enough to show openness. Even humor works. Maybe something like, "I think I just broke my own record for waiting in line." Light, funny, relatable.
Yes, humor is like a glue in conversation, but make sure it's gentle. Avoid sarcasm if you're unsure about cultural context.
Now, small tip for advanced learners, use follow-up questions. Don't just stop at the opener. If they say, "Yes, it's busy today," you could respond with, "Do you come here often?" or "What do you usually order?" You're keeping the rhythm alive.
Exactly. Think of it as a tennis match. You hit the ball, they hit it back, you return it, and suddenly a conversation is happening without pressure.
And don't forget nonverbal cues. Smile, nod, maybe a little lean forward. They signal friendliness without words. And sometimes that's all the icebreaker you need.
True. I also like a tip I read recently. Mirror a tiny behavior. If they sip coffee, you sip coffee. Not creepy, just subtly matching energy helps the connection.
That's so subtle. I've done it before, and honestly, it works. It's like an invisible, "we're in this together" sign.
Now, imagine you try an icebreaker and they respond briefly. Like, yeah, I guess so. Don't panic. You can pivot. Comment, ask another question, or even self-deprecating humor. I always get nervous talking to new people. Are you like that too?
Oh, I love that one. It's honest and relatable. And people often warm up because you're showing vulnerability, not just practicing phrases.
And here's a little cultural note. In many English-speaking countries, people appreciate lightness and warmth in conversation starters. Overly formal lines might sound stiff. Think of it as casual elegance, polite but easy.
So true. And for our listener practicing at home, try reading the room. Not everyone will want to chat, and that's okay. The goal is smooth openings, not forcing a friendship.
Speaking of practice, a little exercise you can do. Next time you're out, cafe, park, supermarket, pick one neutral comment and one open question. Try them silently in your mind. Then, next time, say them out loud. You'll notice the ease builds quickly.
And don't forget our little CTA. Liking what you hear? Hit that like button and subscribe to join us for more. Oh, and leave a comment with your location and local time. We love seeing where you're tuning in from.
Now, settle in, maybe grab a notebook or just relax with your headphones on, and let's ease into today's English journey together.
So to recap our first section, start simple, observe, and gently invite someone into conversation. Don't overthink it. Light, friendly, and a dash of humor goes a long way.
And remember, small talk is a skill. Like we said earlier, it might feel awkward at first, but every friendly opener is a tiny victory.
Exactly. Think of each attempt as practice, not performance. And the more you do it, the more natural it feels. Soon, you're not just opening conversations, you're building connections.
One last note before we move on. Don't worry about silence. A small pause is natural. Sometimes even letting the conversation breathe makes it stronger.
That's a good bridge into our next section, actually, how to ask polite questions to keep that dialogue flowing. But we'll get to that soon.
For now, just remember, smile, comment on what you notice, maybe crack a tiny joke, and keep it light. That's the essence of breaking the ice smoothly.
And don't forget, if your first attempt isn't perfect, laugh at yourself a little bit. People appreciate authenticity, not perfection.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, listeners, we've covered the first steps. Your next coffee or park visit might just become a mini conversation practice session. Enjoy it. All right, welcome back. Still with us? Still cozy? Hopefully still smiling a little after that first section. Now, we're going deeper into something that makes small talk feel alive. Asking polite, natural questions.
And honestly, this is where people get a bit nervous. You can feel that pressure like, what if my question sounds too direct? Or what if I sound like I'm interviewing the person?
Exactly. And that's such a common fear, especially for advanced learners like you. You already know the grammar, you know the words, but now you're polishing the feel of your questions.
So let's start simple. You know how earlier we talked about breaking the ice at a cafe or at a networking event? Well, once that first comment is out there, you need something soft and polite to keep things going.
Yes, and one of the best techniques is what we call gentle curiosity. Not interrogating, just showing interest. Something like, what do you usually get here? Or, how's your week going so far?
And notice the tone. Usually, so far, these make your questions sound lighter, less like a demand for information and more like a natural follow-up.
Exactly. Compare, what do you do? Versus, so, what kind of work do you do? The little phrase, what kind of, softens everything. And suddenly, it feels friendly.
And listeners, here's a small language feature for you, softening phrases. These are tiny words or expressions that make your questions sound more polite. Things like kind of, sort of, usually, by the way, if you don't mind me asking.
That last one is very helpful in more private situations. Imagine you're chatting with someone. You mentioned you travel a lot. If you don't mind me asking, what's your favorite place so far? See? You're inviting, not demanding.
And you're respecting boundaries. People love that. It makes conversations feel safe.
Now, let's try a little role play. Imagine you, listener, are at an office mixer. You've already said something simple like, wow, it's louder in here than I expected. The other person laughs. Great, you're in.
Then you could follow with, so how do you know everyone here? That's such a classic, and it works everywhere. Parties, conferences, weddings.
And the beauty is, it's open. They can choose how much they want to share. Maybe they tell you about their job, or a friend, or a project.
And that gives you room for more follow-ups, like, oh, really? How long have you been working with them? Or, that sounds fun. What got you into that?
And notice the vibe. It's a relaxed back and forth. You're not trying to fill every second. You're just giving gentle invitations.
Speaking of gentle, cultural note here, in many English-speaking countries, small talk questions about work, hobbies, or weather are normal. But asking about age, salary, or relationship status, unless you're very close, nope, just don't go there.
Yes, that rule will save you so many awkward situations. If you ever think, is this too personal? The answer is probably yes.
If you really want to practice a very natural pattern, try this formula. Comment, soft question, small detail, follow-up question.
Let's give them an example.
Okay, here's one. Comment, this place has such a warm atmosphere. Soft question. Do you come here often? Small detail. Oh, you work nearby. That must be convenient. Follow-up. What kind of work do you do?
And that alone could lead to 10 minutes of talk without feeling forced.
And listeners, another powerful technique is echo questions. These are when you repeat a word or idea from the other person's sentence as a question.
Yes, if they say, I'm learning photography, you respond, photography? It shows an interest and they'll naturally continue explaining.
It's so simple but so effective. And it works great when you feel a little nervous or your mind goes blank.
Another trick we should talk about is adding softeners at the beginning of your question, like, just wondering, I was curious, by any chance.
Exactly. Imagine asking, do you know where the train station is? Now soften it. By any chance, do you know where the train station is? It instantly feels more polite and less abrupt.
And this applies to social conversation too. By any chance, are you watching that new show everyone talks about?
Which gives them the freedom to say yes or no without pressure.
Now, let's shift into a little real-life scenario. You're visiting a friend's workplace for the first time. Their colleague comes over and smiles. You want to chat. What do?
You could start with something light, like, so you two work together? Or, how long have you known each other?
And then build from their response. It's all about noticing little opportunities.
By the way, listeners, let's clarify something important. Tone matters more than grammar and polite questions. You could have a perfect sentence, but a nervous, sharp tone makes it sound tense.
True. Slow down your voice a little, smile, even if they can't see it, and let your question land softly.
And here's a playful moment. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself when your question comes out awkward. I once said, do you work here? Because my brain short-circuited.
Work. Like double confirming.
Yes, I sounded like a confused robot, but we both laughed and it actually made the conversation better.
See? Authenticity wins.
Now, advanced learners, this is for you. You can practice layered questions. These are questions with two gentle parts. For example, so what got you into teaching? Was it something you planned, or did it just happen naturally?
It's soft, but gives them options. And options reduce pressure.
But don't overuse them. Otherwise, your questions become too long and sound like an interview.
Great point. You want balance.
Oh, and here's a tiny bedtime-friendly tip. Lowering your voice at the end of your question makes it sound more comforting and less demanding. Try it next time you speak English aloud.
Let's do one more micro role play. Listener, imagine you meet someone at the airport waiting area. Like we said earlier, you're both early for your flight. You could say, looks like we got here way too early. They smile. Then your polite question, are you traveling for work or just a little break?
And if that feels too direct, soften it. If you don't mind me asking, are you traveling for work or just a little break?
Perfect. Soft. Friendly.
And once they respond, let your curiosity guide you, not scripted lines.
Before we close this section, remember, polite questions aren't about perfection. They're about connection.
Yes, use softeners, keep it light, and let your voice sound warm and curious. That's the heart of natural small talk.
And coming up next, expressing opinions without sounding too strong or too shy. A very useful skill. All right, listeners, welcome into this next cozy stretch of our journey. You're still with us, headphones on, maybe lying back a little, maybe sipping something warm. In this section, we're exploring one of the trickiest parts of socializing in English, sharing your opinions gracefully. Not too strong, not too timid, just that calm, confident balance.
And oh, wow, this one is so important, especially because as advanced learners, you already can express opinions, but how you shape them changes everything. Tone, wording, softness, confidence, they all mix together.
Exactly. In English-speaking cultures, people like opinions that feel open, not absolute truths. More like offerings, not declarations.
It's like saying, here's my thought, what about you? Instead of, I'm right. End of story.
So let's start with a simple guiding idea. Use soft openings for opinions. Tiny phrases that make your opinion sound friendly. Things like, personally, I think, I feel like, for me, my impression is.
And my favorite, it seems to me. So soft, so gentle, so open. It's like handing someone a cup of tea instead of throwing a rock at them.
That's quite the comparison, but yes, tone matters.
Let's bring you, listener, into a real situation. Imagine you're at a casual dinner with colleagues. Someone asks, "So, what did you think of that new project plan?" And suddenly, everyone looks at you.
The pressure.
Right? But instead of panicking, you could begin gently. Personally, I think the plan is interesting. I like the direction, but I'm still curious how we'll handle the timeline. See how balanced that is? Positive, but honest.
And notice that word curious. It's a fantastic tool. It signals openness, not criticism. You're not attacking anything. You're exploring.
And this is huge for small talk too. If you're in a casual setting, like a friend of a friend recommends a movie, you can say, "Oh, interesting. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard mixed things. What did you like about it?"
Yes, that's the magic part. Inviting their opinion after sharing yours lightly. It keeps the conversation warm and two-sided.
Another real-life scenario, you're meeting someone new at a weekend meetup. They say, "Do you like living in your city?" Instead of saying, "Yes, it's good," which is a conversation killer.
Try, yeah, I do. I love the food and the friendly neighborhoods, but honestly, the traffic can be a bit much sometimes.
That tiny contrast, something you like, something that challenges you, makes your opinion feel balanced and relatable, and it naturally invites them to share their own local experiences.
Let's highlight a language feature here. Hedging. These are those softening words, maybe, kind of, a bit, slightly, that help you avoid sounding too strong.
Like, "It's a bit noisy in here," instead of "It's loud." Or, "I'm not sure I agree," instead of "You're wrong."
Hedging allows conversations to stay friendly even when you disagree slightly. And trust me, disagreements happen naturally in social situations.
Unless you're a robot. But if you're human, yes, disagreements are part of the fun.
Here's a soft disagreement example. Person A says, I think pineapple on pizza is amazing. Person B, I'm not sure I'm there yet, but I kind of see why people like it.
That's me. I'm pineapple neutral.
I still support your journey of discovery.
Thank you for your generosity.
Anyway, notice how that disagreement was gentle. No harsh, no, it's terrible, just a soft pivot.
And that's a cultural thing, too. In many English-speaking environments, strong absolute statements can feel a bit aggressive, but using softer phrasing makes you sound open and collaborative.
Another technique is opinion sandwiches. Positive, soft critique, positive. Like, I really enjoyed the event. Some parts were a bit long, but overall, it was such a great evening.
It's honest, but pleasant, like a verbal croissant.
I don't think croissants have critiques inside them.
Okay, fine. Verbal filled pastry.
Moving on.
Let's do a quick role play for bedtime-friendly practice. Listener, imagine you're walking with a coworker after a long day. They ask, "So, how was your first week?" You could say, "Overall, it's been good. I'm still getting used to the systems, but everyone's been so welcoming."
Notice those elements. Overall, still getting used to, but. That mix feels natural and open.
And let's try another one. Expressing excitement without sounding too intense. Instead of, "I love it," try, "I really like it so far. It feels inspiring." Still positive, but more balanced.
And when you want to sound confident, use calm certainty. I'm pretty sure. I'm confident that. I trust that.
But don't overuse those in small talk. They can sound too strong if the topic is light, like, I'm confident that this cafe has the best muffins in town.
That actually sounds okay.
True. Muffin confidence is fine.
Let's give our listeners a cultural note. In English-speaking small talk, people often avoid extreme opinions early on. It's like building trust first. Once you know each other better, then you can discuss deeper or stronger views.
And for advanced learners, expressing uncertainty can make you sound more natural, not less fluent. Try, I might be wrong, but, or I'm still figuring it out, but.
So soft, so friendly.
Before we wrap up this section, here's a tiny emotional tip. Don't be afraid to smile when giving opinions. Even if they can't see you, people hear your smile in your voice.
Yes, it changes everything. Makes your tone warmer, calmer.
And if you ever feel stuck, repeat part of their opinion before adding yours. Them, I really enjoy hiking. You, hiking. Yeah, I like it too, though I'm still a beginner.
Echo, soft statement, small detail. Perfect trio.
All right, listeners, you now have a full toolbox for sharing thoughts gracefully, softeners, hedging, gentle disagreement, and open-ended phrasing.
And next up, we're going into something we all face, awkward pauses, and how to move through them smoothly. All right, listeners, welcome into this next soft corner of our journey. We've talked about breaking the ice, asking polite questions, sharing opinions, and now we're diving into the thing everyone experiences no matter their language level, awkward pauses.
Yes, those moments when the conversation suddenly just stops. And you're standing there thinking, oh no, what do I do?
And if you're learning English, it feels even bigger, right? But here's our comforting secret. Awkward pauses are normal. Native speakers get them all the time. At cafes, in offices, at bus stops, everywhere.
Absolutely. Even we get them between recordings sometimes. I'll say something, then Nico stares at me like he's buffering.
Not buffering, processing, deep processing.
Sure. But the point is, awkward pauses aren't bad. They're just space. And you can fill that space gently.
So let's explore a few ways to do that without sounding forced or rushed.
First technique, comment on the situation. If the silence hits, you can lightly mention something around you. For example, it's pretty calm here tonight, isn't it? Or, I didn't expect the weather to be this warm.
Situational comments are so helpful because they reset the conversation. You're not jumping to a new topic, you're grounding things in the moment.
And remember, listeners, you don't need to be clever. You don't need a perfect line. Even something simple like, this place has a nice vibe, is enough.
Now, another technique, return to something the other person said earlier. This is a secret weapon. If there's a pause, you can say, by the way, you mentioned you're trying cooking classes. How's that going?
Such a great one. It shows you're actually listening, and it brings the energy back without pressure.
And because this whole episode is about socializing, here's a really advanced learner strategy. Gentle restarts. Say you and someone stop talking for a moment. You can give a soft little so at the start of a new question.
I love that. So, what kind of music do you usually listen to? So, have you been here before?
Exactly. That so functions like a conversational breath. It's not pushy, it's warm.
I do this all the time. It's like a soft signal. Hey, the conversation isn't over. I'm still here.
Now, let's role play gently. Listener, imagine this. You're at a community event, chatting with someone new. You've asked the question, they've answered, and suddenly the silence lands like a little cloud.
You feel that micro panic. Oh, I need to say something. But remember, pause is okay. breathe. Then you can try a simple restart. So, you mentioned you work in marketing. What part of it do you enjoy the most?
Just like that, the flow begins again.
And here's a small bedtime-friendly note. Slowing your voice makes pauses feel natural, not awkward. If you speak too fast, pauses feel like mistakes. If you speak calmly, pauses feel like part of the rhythm.
Yes, and this is true in English culture as well. People often pause to think. It's not considered rude, it's considered thoughtful.
Another tool, self-disclosure. That means sharing a tiny piece of yourself to reopen the conversation. For example, I always get nervous at events like this.
Or, I'm still learning how to talk to people in English, so I take my time.
That one is so honest, and usually people respond with kindness.
And it turns the silence into connection.
Let's talk about humor for a moment. A playful comment can dissolve the tension. Something like, wow, that was a dramatic pause.
Yes, but use that one only if the moment feels friendly enough. No need to force humor if the vibe is calmer.
True, but even a soft laugh can break the ice. Now let's touch on a little language feature, bridging phrases. These help you shift gently into a new topic. Some examples, speaking of that reminds me, by the way, on a different note.
Oh, yes. By the way is magic. You can have a long pause, then say, by the way, have you tried the snacks here? And boom, conversation restored.
And speaking of that, works even if the connection is small. For example, someone says they like traveling. There's a pause. Then you say, speaking of that, do you prefer beach trips or city trips?
Smooth like butter. Now, one more scenario for practice. Listener, imagine you're waiting in a slow elevator with someone from your company. The silence hits. What do?
You could try something tiny like, this elevator is definitely taking its time today.
Or, I always check the floor numbers like it's a countdown.
That's such a Nico thing to say.
It's true, though.
And after that comment, the other person might laugh or respond, and now you're talking again.
Let's also talk about cultural nuance here. In English-speaking areas, not every silence needs to be filled. People are comfortable with small moments of quiet.
That's so important. Sometimes the best thing is to let the pause sit, breathe for a moment, smile, and then continue.
Exactly. Pauses can even make you sound more confident.
And if you genuinely can't think of a new topic, here's a trick. Shift to mild, safe, universal topics, like, have you seen any good shows lately? What do you usually do on weekends? Do you have a favorite cafe around here?
Evergreen questions. Always safe, always gentle.
Before we wrap this section, let's give our listeners one playful bedtime mission. Next time you speak English, intentionally leave a small pause. Just 2 seconds. Notice how natural it feels when you breathe into it.
Yes, pauses can be your friend, not your enemy.
And next up, we're easing into the final part, ending conversations nicely, how to leave people smiling and wanting to talk again.
You know, Elisa, people often tell me they struggle with ending small talk. Like, they don't want to be rude, but they also don't want to get stuck forever.
Oh, yes, that's a classic one. Ending a conversation gracefully is almost an art form.
Totally. And the key is to signal that you're leaving without making the other person feel unimportant.
Exactly. And one of the easiest techniques is giving a positive reason before you exit.
Right. Like, I should let you get back to your work. Or, I've got to head out, but it was great talking to you.
Yes, it makes the other person feel respected. You're basically saying, hey, I'm not leaving because of you. I'm leaving because of the situation.
Another trick I love is the future connection line.
Ah, yes. Like, let's catch up again soon. Or send me that article when you find it.
It keeps the door open, very warm.
And if you want a super soft landing, you can pair it with a compliment.
Something like, I really enjoyed this chat. Thanks for the great conversation.
Perfect. Short, sincere, and friendly.
And if you're at an event, here's a neat trick.
The drink refill excuse?
Exactly. I'm going to grab another drink, but it was lovely meeting you. Works every time.
And my favorite, the summary exit.
Ooh, explain that one.
It's when you briefly recap something they said and then exit. Like, I'll let you get back to your project. Good luck with that deadline.
Nice. It shows you were listening.
And don't forget to smile. Even if they can't see you on audio, you sound more friendly.
Absolutely. Your voice changes instantly when you smile.
So listeners, remember, positive reason, polite exit line, optional compliment.
That's the formula.
And now we should wrap this up.
True, before this section becomes its own separate episode.
All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us.
Catch you in the next one.